All right, hi, thanks for having us. Hope you guys are having a good time in Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota. uh, um, we are some teachers. I'm an administrator, and these are two teachers from Hershey High School in Hershey, Pennsylvania. And we've had the good fortune of being invited to participate with the Project Excellence co-teaching initiative at Penn State. We participated in that initiative for 3 years. And it really has been a helpful opportunity to ensure that our staff has the opportunity to collaborate, has an opportunity to implement the 7 strategies, and we think that we know that it's resulted in some really positive student learning outcomes. So specifically, we want to talk to you about our PLC model and our professional development around it. So the first year that we did it, we had an in-house PLC. So we'll talk a little bit about that. That was pretty formal. And then the next 2 years, we had a more informal structure where our teachers basically used the online PLC that was provided through Project Excellence. So the first year, we had I think it's about 16 teachers who were in a co-teaching role. And we invited those teachers to do a professional learning course with us around co-teaching. And we had 6 modules, and those modules were around the 7 strategies. They were around data gathering and just reading and learning about co-teaching. We incentivized it by allowing the teachers to use it as their professional supervision plan that year. So it did have elements of new learning, it had elements of research, and some student activities were developed, and then finally data was gathered. And the data was really impressive at the end. In all cases, in all 8 pairs that participated, each one of them was able to demonstrate that the co-taught class outperformed the class that was not co-taught. So one of the incentives was getting your supervision plan done. We also had some meetings during the day. We did some lunches.
The lunches were a great incentive as well. We would meet, have lunch, all of the co-teachers, and we would discuss strategies that were working and strategies that were not working in the classroom. It provided a great opportunity to unify the co-teachers. We had most of them from Penn State, Harrisburg, and some from Messiah College as well. So they got to know each other and learn about which co-strategies were working best and in what situations they were being used. What we did in the first year was a much more formal discussion, and then eventually
I think we met monthly.
Yeah, we met monthly. It was part of our professional development, as Lori said. And then in the next 2 years, we continued with the online forum, but that was done through the university, through
Right.
Penn State and through Messiah. And at the lunches that we would have, or even at the meetings monthly after school, we could really get into some more informal discussion. And it really unified the co-teachers within the building.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things about the co-teaching initiative is that I've gotten to see our staff's professional practice in a new way, and that has been far and away the best component for me. So going into a classroom, not doing a walkthrough per se, but being actually involved in talking about a problem or implementing a strategy so that I'm engaged. I'm not just observing practice, but I'm engaging with the teachers. And sometimes I got lucky enough to even engage with students. And I think the relationship that we've built over these last 3 years has been really cool. And we've never had that opportunity, even though we've worked together for a long time. So that's a huge
And
advantage.
Angie came in. You came in the second year,
Yes.
correct? And it also worked, I think, well in allowing us to collaborate more.
I agree. And then the second and third year, we did digital asynchronous posting for the PLC. And that was nice because we could do it when we had the time to do it. But it was also, I think, improved when we then followed up. We self-initiated some face-to-face after we posted. What did you mean by that? Or how did it work? And clarified on some lessons. Even though Nikki teaches world history and I teach civics and American history, we were often able to connect our lessons so that the students could see how the years connect through the stuff that we shared in the postings and then with our face-to-face follow-up, which was really nice.
And with the strategies we used too, the station teaching, how Angie tried it first, and then I tried it next, and then Angie tried it again the third time using some of the strategies that I may have changed.
We did have I did make a video of them of your station rotation,
Nice.
and in that video, there's evidence of you using Angie's classroom as one of your stations.
And our students, my
And
students
student
became
teachers.
very comfortable going into Angie's room and other teachers in our district into their room as we implemented a variety of the strategies.
Yes.
I think one of the things that I noticed was the rapport that you two developed with each other, and but also with your co-teachers, and not just because they were student teachers, but with them as people. And I loved the way that you guys interacted with them and enjoyed them. So talk about that.
The co-teaching strategy, I think, helps you establish that relationship much more quickly, and they know with Nikki and I both that from the basically day 2, sometimes day 1, it's baptism by fire, and we really get them leading discussions and doing things in the classroom much more quickly than we would in a traditional student-teacher setting, which I think is helpful for that.
Yeah, and we're seeing too. I'm seeing we have a traditional student teacher right now in our department with one of our other teachers, and there are some issues in the classroom that we didn't see at all. I didn't see in my 3 years of co-teaching. I know that the teacher in our department came to me and said, "I've never had so many calls and emails from parents." And I said, I think it really has to do with the traditional style.
Yeah.
It's not in the co-teaching spirit, and it's just different. It's very different.
The co-teaching allows for more accountability more quickly, and the student teacher, the co-teacher, knows that. So I think you have less issues.
And we also have each other's back.
Exactly.
I think the students see the classroom teacher and the teacher candidate the way that we work together in the front of the room, and I think it makes for a much smoother transition.
More equals.
Yeah, you're bringing your strengths to the table. They're bringing their strengths, and the weaknesses, your individual weaknesses, are minimized because because you're kind of covering for each other. I think that was definitely evident. And you mentioned some of the prompts that you felt were interesting and helpful. How did so talk about feedback?
I feel like from the second year I was involved with the digital PLC to the third year, I feel like Penn State Harrisburg did a really good job of taking the teacher input on how to make those prompts more applicable to what we really deal with in the classroom versus just a question just to ask a question. So I feel like the second year, the prompts were more helpful, and I could see more of what the teachers were using that I knew I wanted to learn more about. So I therefore reached out to more teachers in different districts and said, "Oh, how did you use that resource? And what feedback do you have so I don't have to learn by mistake?" So I just feel like if you ask the teachers for some interesting or for some ideas of questions, it would be much more beneficial than just having a question that the teacher's laughing about, really. Why are we answering this? This doesn't really help me. I've been teaching for 9 years or whatever.
And the PLCs online differed between Messiah and Penn State Harrisburg. I can't remember which one, but in one of them we were interacting solely with teachers from other school districts, and in another we were mixed. So it was teachers and teacher candidates. And I don't really think there was an advantage or disadvantage to either, but there were 2 different styles of PLCs.
I kind of liked seeing the one that was mixed with the
where we had
teachers and the co-teachers. Because you could see what they were learning with their experience with us, how they commented on it.
And I think you may have had that experience. I think the first year with the Messiah student, or no, that was my second year. It was they were they were just interacting among themselves, the teacher candidates. So they were separate from the teachers, but the mixing, I think, was kind of nice.
I think another thing that contributes to the professional learning is the role of the observer. Because I've worked with 2 different observers with my co-teachers, and one stayed after every time they came in to observe and gave immediate feedback to the co-teacher. And I think that growth happened more quickly when the observer made it a point to do that. When the observer comes in and just writes down a couple notes and then leaves and they have to talk about it, that
The
week in
supervisor.
class, or the
College
supervisor.
university
Yeah,
supervisor.
when they can stay, even if it's just for 10 minutes, I think that the student teacher
Mhm.
has more growth more quickly.
I think that's interesting. It makes sense with timely feedback.
Yes.
Well, the last question that we wanted to answer is, what advice would we give to other schools? From an administrative perspective, I think creating structures where the people you have in-house have the opportunity to interact with each other and to grow, and if it's a PLC, if it's teacher supervision, make sure you take advantage of that opportunity.
And I think anymore you can be grassroots with incorporating the teachers you're working with, the student teachers you're working with, and the supervisors all giving input on what they really want to talk about and what they need to fine tune, the better the program is.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Have fun.